The air at St. Augustine's felt different, lighter, freer, as though a heavy shadow had finally lifted. The morning sun poured over the campus, warming the courtyard where the siblings sat together with Mr. Okoro. The tension that had gripped the school for so long seemed to have faded, but the scars of what they had faced remained. Jide looked at his siblings, their faces still showing traces of fear and exhaustion. "Is it really over?" he asked, his voice quiet. Mr. Okoro nodded but spoke with caution. "The worst of it is gone. The light has pierced through the darkness, but battles like this leave wounds. It will take time for healing to begin." The events of the previous night had spread quickly. Students whispered of the senior boys' collapse, the confiscation of the strange leather-bound book, and the emergency meeting held by the school's headmaster. For years, the hidden activities of certain students and staff had festered under the surface, but now, their secrets had been dragged into the open. The senior boy and his accomplices had been removed from the school, escorted away by local authorities. The teachers who had participated in the rituals were dismissed, their departure marked by hurried exits and bowed heads. The book, its dark, weathered cover and strange inscriptions, was locked away, never to be used again. For the first time in years, the students of St. Augustine's could breathe. That afternoon, the headmaster called for a special assembly. The entire school gathered in the main hall, the atmosphere a mix of relief and curiosity. The headmaster, a normally reserved man, stood at the podium, his face somber but resolute. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for our school," he began. "For too long, we have allowed darkness to take root in this place. But no more. Thanks to the bravery of a few, the truth has come to light. And with that truth, we have a chance to rebuild." The students listened in silence, their expressions a mix of guilt and hope. Mr. Okoro stood at the back, his presence a steady reminder of the strength that had brought them through. In the days that followed, the siblings began to feel the changes firsthand. The oppressive whispers at night disappeared, replaced by a peaceful quiet that allowed them to finally sleep soundly. The chapel, once a cold and suffocating place, now felt welcoming. Morning prayers were filled with genuine voices, no longer the robotic murmurs of before. Jide, Ada, and Daniel noticed their fellow students smiling more, laughing freely, and forming bonds that hadn't been possible under the old regime of fear. Even the teachers seemed lighter, their lessons more engaging, their presence less imposing. But for the siblings, the experience had left its mark. "It's strange," Ada said one evening as they sat under the large tree in the courtyard. "I'm glad it's over, but I don't think I'll ever forget what we saw." "Maybe we're not supposed to forget," Daniel replied. "Maybe we're supposed to remember, so it doesn't happen again." On their final night at St. Augustine's, Mr. Okoro gathered the siblings in the chapel. The room was dimly lit, the soft glow of candles reflecting off the polished wood of the altar. He spoke to them with the same calm authority he had shown from the beginning. "You've been through a lot," he said. "More than most people your age should ever have to face. But you've come out stronger. You've shown courage, faith, and unity, and those are the things that will carry you through life." The siblings nodded, their faces solemn but grateful. Together, they knelt in prayer one last time, their voices rising in harmony. They prayed not just for themselves but for the school, for their peers, and for the future of St. Augustine's. As the siblings packed their belongings the next morning, preparing to return home, Jide looked out the window one last time. The sun was rising over the hills, casting a warm glow over the campus. He smiled, feeling a sense of peace he hadn't known in months. "Ready?" Mr. Okoro asked, stepping into the room. Jide turned and nodded. "Ready." The siblings walked out of the dormitory together, their steps lighter, their spirits renewed. They knew their journey wasn't over, there would always be challenges, always battles to fight. But now, they knew they had the strength to face them. And as they left St. Augustine's behind, the echoes of their prayers lingered in the air, a reminder that even in the darkest places, light can prevail.